Who Put This On, Season 8, Episode 26, where we watch Owning Manhattan, Season 1, Episode 1. And I have a special talent. I have Bidar.
And cemeteries are filled with wasted potential, and that's a lot to say to a 10-year-old kid. This is Brian.
If this is your first time listening, we watch a different reality show each week and discuss it in minute detail. What show did we watch this week, Brian?
This week we watched Owning Manhattan. Real estate mogul Ryan Serhant leads one of the biggest firms in New York and pushes his agents to greatness while tackling the most expensive listings. And you can find that on Netflix.
Thank you, Brian. So I didn't mention that we use quotes from the show at the beginning. So, I don't have Bidar, just to let you know.
You don't?
I don't have Bidar. So this is kind of an interesting mix between like a house hunting show and a workplace reality show, which we've done a couple of these in the past. We've done the quintessential Selling Sunset, and then we did Selling Miami.
Yeah. I also like to think about this in the style of Pawn Stars. Basically, Pawn Stars was, let's find this crazy pawn shop around Las Vegas and just record them and the crazy shit they get. And then Netflix has ran with this in multiple directions of, here's real estate firms, here's this like collectible dude.
Well, there's also a signature to these where all of them have like some big ticket item they're trying to sell.
Yep.
And like it's the focus of like the show. And then in the meantime, they'll like briefly show you other places. And I mean briefly. Like I'll talk about some of them. I wrote them down. But like you don't really, it's not like a house hunting show where you get a good sense of the house. So it's like more along the lines of a workplace reality show. And, there's not that much interaction going on between everyone here. So it's like separate stories around people selling or not selling houses.
So admittedly, I've also watched episode 2, and that does change a little bit, but it doesn't change that much. You're right. Like there's like a lot of like separate storylines here, and it's following every agent's path. Yeah,
it is somewhat interesting. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Being in New York, I think interests me more than the LA show. Like the attitudes of these people are much more along the lines of something I'd want to watch than that. Like the attitudes of people in LA, like they're like, we're selling this house. We're not talking about, what Prada bag we have or like, I'm just going to wear it and you're going to see it. But we're going to talk about how I'm selling this $3 million house.
Yeah. And we got a little taste of that attitude, too, where Ryan was shouting about it being Make Money Monday.
Oh, yeah. I had that down as a quote, too. The other quote I had came in the season on, which I really was debating on using, which was, "Your little podcast, get out."
Don't tell us that.
I thought that was pretty funny, fitting, but the Bidar, I had to do it. Yeah, so we got Ryan, what is his name?
Ryan Serhant.
Serhant. He has the 6th largest something in New York.
Like real estate firm.
Real estate firm in New York, which, that's good. He's got 350 agents, which seems like a lot. But there is a lot of, like, property in New York City, so like I'm sure they go from like I don't know, probably $1 million to like whatever, and a lot of places in New York City are probably $1 million, I imagine. Yeah. And then they also do rentals. So we ran into somebody doing rentals, which we'll talk about, I guess.
Yeah.
So like he's got a pretty big agency, it seems, and we got introduced to. Well, let's just go through the show. Let's just do it. So the first thing we see is he's trying to sell this big ticket, which is the penthouse that's right next to the park, Central Park. And it is a $250 million home, which is insanity.
Yeah, the world's most expensive penthouse.
Yeah, and like this, he had a buyer, quote unquote, a buyer on the show, and the buyer decided to buy multiple New York City properties and LA instead of this one penthouse, which is like really shows you like the opportunity cost with 250 million is like that's like a no matter how much money you have, that's a lot of money. Like even if you look at good guy Elon, he's got paid 47 billion, but that's still, one 200th of that. That's still a lot when that's an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not cash fluid money he has, right? That's like in stock and all this other shit. So like in order to buy a $250 million house, you got to have enough stock to get that loan for the liquidity, or you need to have enough liquidity. Like, that's just like an insane amount of money. There's only a handful of people in the world that can buy this house.
Yep. And you don't really need like a whole agent batch to find it. Like you probably have them on speed dial or like there's some directory.
It's just like, okay, you got all the press for the most expensive home like ever, like in existence. If the person wanted to buy it, he probably heard about it. It's I don't know. It's a tough sell.
Yeah. It really is a tough sell to like just put so much into one property. Like when that dude was like broke it up into different homes, I was like, that makes way more sense.
It does. Like, so this house has 11 bathrooms, 17 bedrooms, a grand ballroom, like multiple kitchens. Like, it's got everything you'd ever want in a house. But like, imagine trying to keep that thing clean and like, obviously, you're gonna have to have people. Like,
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. Like, you'd have to be like a New Yorker that has billions of dollars, not a billion, billions.
Yep.
And wants to live in New York City.
Yeah.
Because that's your house. Like,
Yeah, this is not a vacation house. That should be becoming your main house.
yeah. So we talk about this, like, he had a buyer, like, it seems, I don't know how legit this buyer was, but she said she was with the well-known family in South Korea that owns an electronics company, which we all know what that is. Samsung.
You're not supposed to say it. We got to get paid for this.
Reach out to us. Yeah. The fact that they didn't say it.
Yeah, like it's, well, they didn't say it because that would have been free advertising and stuff.
Well, I don't think so. I think I don't know how real it is. That's why I question it.
Oh, okay.
That's my question.
Yeah, it could have just been made up for the show.
And then like he gets a call while he's on the top of the Empire State Building, and he had to go like inside to get cell service. And they say no. And then he walks out and he has a tear. I'm like, how real is that tear, Brian? What do you think?
I don't think it's real. I mean, I would admittedly be frustrated, but I don't think it would be a tear moment.
Yeah. Well, we find out at the end of the episode that he brings in his like senior level staff to try to help sell this place, and he's going to give the person that helps him $10 million.
Whoa. That's a huge commission. That's more than like the typical.
That's an insane amount of money. But like, it's an insane amount of money to sell this house. Right?
Yeah.
But I can't imagine he must be getting like 1% would be 25 million. Do you think that's how much he gets for selling this house? 1%? You think he gets less?
Yeah, he probably gets less. Like 2.5 million is like.
Do you think they get all the commission?
Yeah, like that.
Do you think the commission's 10 mil?
I don't think the commission. That's tough because it could be like, hey, we really want to sell this house. Cool, but at the same time, like it's so expensive that like I don't. That's like you're losing a huge chunk of money.
Well, let's put it this way. So later in the episode, somebody sells a house for $3.6 million, and they get $108,000 for their commission. So that's only like 3%.
Yeah.
Not even 1%.
Yeah, but I bet like that could just be like that agent's commission and like without like the brokerage and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
But we're like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, is he giving away this $10 million because his brokerage house will look better if they end up actually selling this 250? Because he only has 6 months to sell this thing. So, like, you get a contract. He has a contract for 6 months to try to sell it. And who knows if he'll get the next 6 months or if somebody else will get the next 6 months. So, and it puts pressure on the show, right? Like, who knows?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it could be well, I don't think it's artificial, but it does make sense that like if you're listing, then you'll have a limited amount of time to sell it because then it's like, okay, you suck. Let me go try somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. I'd imagine it would go to somebody else, but it might come back to you because like selling a $250 million house, it's like once in a lifetime. Like no one, like I can't imagine anyone buying it.
Well,
But that's why I'm not in that business. So like, what do I know?
we should have had Internet Corner here to look up articles on if it was actually sold or not.
Yeah, where is Mr. Internet Corner over here?
Yeah.
We missed you. We're missing you. Yeah, but I mean, like, why, if you make this building, why do you make the penthouse so lavish that you have to sell it for $250 million? That's just insane. Like, break it up into like five $50 million houses.
I could see that, but then I think like making a news story makes it also like more enticing for everybody else to buy.
You think so?
Yeah, I think news carries well. I think.
I mean, they haven't sold it yet.
Oh, did you just look it up?
No, well, I just mean.
Yeah, I mean, it was already like they showed like some like news things on the show, which I assume are somewhat real. But yeah, it definitely made some articles.
Okay, here's an article. June, did he sell this house? Blah, blah, blah. The penthouse is still on the market.
No, oh yeah. So then it didn't make a difference.
Spoiler alert for the show.
Damn.
Oh, it's only 7 bed, not 17. 11 bath. It's also listed for $195 million now.
Okay. That is a huge drop. That's over a 20% drop.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they're just trying to go too hard for it.
I mean, apparently, according to this, they used the $250 million price tag to get those news stories. They were never expecting probably to sell it for that much.
Yeah, fair.
You know,
But now is it the world's most expensive penthouse? Probably not.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
So let's go through some of the other things that happened this episode. They're not all that. They're nowhere near as interesting as that.
Yeah.
We have Chloe. She talks to somebody at their house to try to like sell their condo for $5.7 million when the condo above them just is listed for 5.5. So that's a tough sell because in New York, every floor adds money.
Yep.
But that was $171,000 commission.
Yeah, so that actually matches up with like the 3 point whatever that was sold earlier.
The 0.3.
Yeah.
Because like 1% would be 570,000. So you're looking at, I'm not gonna do math in my head right now. Then we get to Tracy and Jeff, which is the husband and wife team. They're the one that sold the $3.6 million house. It was a 4,000 square foot house, 3-story. I wrote 3 stories and then 5 stories. So I don't know what I was trying to write down. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
We didn't even really get to see that house that much. It was built in 1899.
Yeah, and even like after not like seeing it, they're just like describing this house, and Ryan is just like, "Oh, the beautiful house." It's like
Every house is the beautiful house.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, this is a good part to bring up. Like the Ryan starts the show with like this like all hands meeting with everyone, and like does this like Wolf of Wall Street kind of like speech, and we were just waiting for the naked women and the midgets to come out of the back
Yeah.
with the band.
That was very, very, like, there was no cocaine, but there was a lot of, like, good celebration.
There's a lot of roo rah rah kind of shenanigans going on where if you sell a house, you can put it on the board, and the like one person says, "Oh, $1 million house isn't good enough for the board, so you need to have like million plus." So this $3.6 million board, like when they sell it, which I don't know how staged this was, whereas like she gets it's such a weird thing. It must have been staged. So the guy was like, or Jeff was like, yeah, we're right near the end and there's something going on. I don't know if this deal's going to go through or whatever. And then he says, oh, you mean the beautiful house? And you're like, yeah. And then like the next second they're going to call and like, the deal's done. We're good. And Ryan like cheers them to put it on the board.
Yeah, of course. And
Like,
that drama's
it's
so fake.
Like, I believe that they might have sold this $3.6 million house. It just wasn't sold, like, in front of Ryan like that.
No. No, and especially not just, like, right before. Oh,
It's just, like, such a weird drama. Like, it's like, ugh. It's
Yeah.
like Kardashian level drama. Although the acting, I think, is way more believable than the Kardashian stuff.
Well, I mean, they have their own production company, so.
That's fair. They do have their own production company that was filming something up top of the Empire State Building.
Yep.
Do you think this production company mainly makes stuff for Instagram, or like, are they making the show? Like, what is?
I think they're doing it for, like, everything. Like, if you want to have, like, a good, like, social media presence, like, you need some good production.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, if they're listings are just like the show, I mean, that's definitely going to help. But it's cost money, to have that, like.
Probably not as much as, like, they would make from a place. So, especially when you just, like, run it across, like, the gambit of all the houses.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, probably, like, what, like little over 500K to, like, have, like, just a crew with, like, boom mic, camera, etc.
Oh, one thing to note is this guy was also in a different reality show.
What show?
They mentioned on the pod. They mentioned it in the thing. Well, let's see. Sorry, this is great audio.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, well, I'm also Ryan Serhans looking for this. Oh, he's also in some films.
He rose to real estate stardom as a cast member on Bravo's $1 Million Listing New York.
Oh, all right. Should we check that out next?
He was also on Sell It Like Serhant and Ryan's Renovation.
He was also on the Dr. Oz show as a guest.
I mean, but these are reality shows he's been in.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, so this is like another like attempt at getting into the real estate reality show marketing game.
Yeah. What else happened in this episode? We could talk about Chloe. We talked about Chloe. We meant to talk about Savannah. So we see Savannah. She's a junior person at the studio. Very attractive, as you know, you're going to be on this show. And she is showing off an $8,000 a month apartment. And I don't know about you. $8,000 a month, a lot of money.
Yep.
To be renting an apartment.
You got to have a pretty good job to be living like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are you doing? You in finance? You 6'5"? You got blue eyes?
Finance, YouTuber, Instagrammer.
But, like, there's only so many people.
Yeah, but I think that the people, the influencers who could do that are probably more prevalent than we think.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can afford $8,000 a month, like, you can afford to buy a house in New York City.
I, I don't know.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think this is still like cheaper. And if it's also like a temporary thing, like, okay, you rent it for a year and then you go back to LA or some shit.
The only thing I have written down about this apartment is that I had heated floors in the kitchen.
That's pretty good.
It's not a ski resort. Do you think you really need heated floors?
Yeah. Dude, the East Coast gets cold, man. You know.
I know. I mean, it also gets fucking hot.
Yeah,
I want cooling floors. I don't want heated floors.
I mean, I'm not turning on the heater in the summer either. Like,
But I can, wear socks. I liked a heated floor when like you're out in the snow all day.
Yeah.
Like that's great. But like in the summer, I want to cool down. Like some cool floors would be nice.
yeah.
But then she admitted later in the show that she's only ever sold a $3,500 a month apartment.
Yeah, that's where it's like really tough. You don't get much commission on that, and you're just like struggling to just find your footing.
Well, just that means the $8,000 a month apartment's still up, still there.
Oh, that's a good point.
Come on, read between the lines.
Yeah,
Then there was like some sort of scene where she gets work from a different client. I don't remember her name. Not important.
yeah,
And that's all the minutia I got for this show.
yeah. I think Savannah, like one of the minutia was like Savannah was like talking about her dating life, and then apparently on the date the dude was just like, "You want to go do a line in the bathroom?"
Obvi.
Yeah,
He's just trying to get right to the point. Like, if you're not into coke, you might as well just stop now.
yeah.
Do you think he was 6'5" in finance?
Definitely finance though. I don't think 6'5".
Blue eyes, though?
Blue eyes probably.
Trust fund? I'm sorry, I keep making the same joke.
Yeah, I mean, those are the only people like who would be doing it, or like very very big influencers.
You think so?
Yeah, we should get the questions though.
The
'Cause, like,
questions? No, I know. We were getting there. I was just looking how long we went talking about the show. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
I like didn't like, noticing that Ryan has been like a senior like reality show person. Like, and he actually is making this company, real estate company. Like, it's pretty impressive. Like, I always assume like these people on these shows, like, they're just not very good. They're just like kind of on them,
Yeah.
But like, the fact that he actually owns or like technically runs, we assume he runs the sixth largest in that country or in New York, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah. I wonder how much like you need to actually do a reality show though. I don't know. Like just running the business alone, like that's the brunt of the work.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just saying, like, he's running his business and,
Yeah.
like, star of reality show. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's impressive to me.
Yeah.
Like, most reality show people, like, I don't see them, like, hustling too much.
No, but then I also see like these like family ones where it's just like pop your family on, and I'm like, how much work is going on here?
It's more work than I think you'd probably realize because they gotta
Yeah.
they gotta do something. They gotta come up with storylines. It's not just like us sitting around playing, Elden Ring or whatever. Like it's like, well, now we can't do that. We gotta have sex games.
People do make money off the Elden Ring, though. I mean, I don't know.
Not on network television.
No, definitely not. Yeah, there's more work than expected, but also probably less.
All right, worst human being.
Ooh, I think Niall is. He's one agent that we didn't really talk about, but
I didn't write down who that
yeah,
was.
he's just kind of cocky and burning everybody.
I mean, you gotta. You're in New York City. You're not burning. You're not living.
Just
You're not ignoring, you're not burning, you're not living.
focus on yourself, and then like let your actions do the talking.
Yeah, okay. I don't really have any contenders, so.
There's not really any other contenders. Everybody else seems like okay and chill.
What speed did Max watch the show at?
Ooh. So if he did, I think he would have done 1x. Because I think it's relevant to him.
That's fair. I'm going to go 1.5. Just because I don't want to match you. I think he'd speed it up. It's Netflix. It's easy. Click that button.
He might speed it up.
Let's see. Drinking rules. Anytime you see the price or they talk about the price of a house, take a drink.
Anytime you see the real estate building, take a drink. Like the Serhant building.
Yeah. Anytime there's a piece of gossip spread around the office, take a drink.
Ooh, finish your drink when somebody writes on the wall.
Oh, that's a good one. Finish the bottle if they sell the $250 million house.
Well, thanks for spoiling it earlier.
Season 2, Brian. Season 2.
Oh, true. Yeah, finish the bottle when there's a season 2.
All right. Would this show be better as a Quibi or TikTok?
I don't think it would be better. It could be broken out, but I don't think it'd be better.
I think the show would be better. I think the show should just be the agent showing the house, and that's it.
But that's just like the production company doing their job. Like, why?
That's a better show to me.
All right, fair enough. I
agree with you. We're on a line here. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, would this be a better show? Yes. Is it a different show? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, would this show be better as a Quibi? No. Because you wouldn't get the things you want.
No, definitely not. Yeah, if I wanted to change the show, then yeah, it would be better.
Like, if we were to design this kind of show, Brian, what would we be doing?
It'd be a lot more exploration of the houses and stuff like that, and less of, well, you got to have some of the drama.
Like, the point of the show is the workplace drama, and
Yeah.
so you got to have some.
But the point of like the big like market is all the houses and stuff.
Sure, I do think that they don't show enough of the houses, and there
Yeah.
aren't enough houses, I think.
They're just dropping numbers and then
Like,
you move on.
I don't think there should be any segment of the show where you're not in like a house you're trying to show off.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, any scenes at the office building, it's a waste of time. Like, show us at, $8,000 a month apartment. Show us at $4 million house. Like,
Yeah.
right? That I think, you have more of an ethos, more of like a, point to everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. What question are we missing? Who's going to hook up next?
Ooh. Not Niall. Maybe
Savannah?
yeah, maybe Savannah and somebody.
Savannah and Ryan?
Oh man, that's a shit workplace.
Yeah, I know. All right, I think we're ready for ratings, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So we have a stack ranking system between top, middle, and bottom third. Brian, what you got for me?
I'm gonna put this as a middle third show, like straight in the middle. And the reason for that, when I look at this, I like Selling Sunset a little bit. Like New York appeals to me, and then also it has this good positive energy. I don't feel like there's going to be too much drama, like negative drama, but there's probably going to be some.
Yeah. As for my rating, I'm tempted because it's definitely middle third for sure. It's whether it makes the top third or not. We haven't had a top third show in a while, and I feel like the morals of the show are pretty good. Like, in terms of showing house and showing people hustle, and not too much of the weird drama that we were getting in the selling series.
Yeah.
It just feels like a better show. It feels more enjoyable to me. Do I want to look at housing like this. Not particularly. So I'm going to put it in the middle third, but if you have any desire to look at houses or anything, this is a show to watch for sure. Like, I think it's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's it for this week's this show. Tell us what you thought on our poll on X at Who Put This On. Wait, we just said it 3 times, Brian. We can't do that.
Ooh, I mean, we already put the mature rating on.
We do that. Which, some weeks I'm like, is it mature? Like, what do we do?
We're not mature.
We are mature. We are mature content makers.
Yes.
All right. So now we do shout outs of other stuff we've been watching. And now I've continued my journey through the back catalog of 90 Day Fiancé the other way.
Ooh, how's it going?
It's like, as I said last week, the people watching is just so damn good. Just like the situations people get into are so crazy. Like this person falls in love with a Filipino woman and he's like from the US. So like literally, I think I talked about it last week where he's on like video camera 24/7.
That's
Did I talk about that?
yeah.
Yeah, just nuts. And like he finally moves to the Philippines. And it's and like they have the scene of him farming. Like legit like behind like a cow. Like plowing the like rice fields. And I'm like, is he literally moving to the Philippines and have to farm? Cuz and then there's like a lot of scenes with like him and money and like not having like he can't have a job really. Like all these people, part of their issue is that they can't get a job.
Yeah.
Right? And like this Filipino woman, like she's like 20, like she can't make any money. Like she doesn't make any money. Like all the money they get is probably from this show, realistically. But like there's a lot of money issues because like the main breadwinner moves to the Philippines and they're like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, there's no more money coming in, and they find out she's pregnant. And they made this big deal about like when he came over, you're not allowed to kiss until the grandparents give them permission to kiss.
Oh no.
So it's like, you're going way beyond kissing at that point.
Oh yeah, that's like, well, what happened here?
There's a lot of confessionals about, we can't have sex until after we're married. And then there must have been some sort of hiatus in the show, and they come back and he's like, "Yep, we're pregnant." Like, what just happened?
So much for that.
Yeah, and like the fact that they don't have any money, like that's just like, not a good situation to be in.
No, it's not.
Let's see. Some of the other people on the show. Somebody moved to Turkey, so like this. I don't know, pretty hot woman moves to Turkey for this like extremely attractive gentleman. And last week, this is a gentleman that had like sex with 2,500 women or something.
Yeah.
And like, just like watching that relationship is like, cracks me up. Just like, he acts like a player and she's like, "You're acting like a player." I'm like, yeah, he's a player. He told you he was a player. He had how many women before you? That's a player. Like he's like the playest player of all time.
Yeah, if you ignored all of that, like then it's all on you.
Well, the crazy thing is I found out this week is that she has a daughter. And she moved to Turkey. Like,
what?
You moving away from your daughter? Like, what are you doing?
Oh no. Yeah, that just like, okay, well, why would anybody follow you anymore?
Let's see. What else do we talk about? Oh, the Filipino couple. I didn't talk about them. We're done with them. There's this person that moved to South Africa. And, like, apparently this guy's house got broken into 3 times in the last, like, 6 months or something. And she wants to move, but there's no money to move because his business isn't doing well. And, like, it's just, Like, some of the situations these people get into are just nuts.
They're just not thinking at all. They're just trying to like, oh, we're madly in love. And at a certain point, you got to be able to say, okay, here's our goals. Are we going to plan this out? And
Yeah.
they're not.
There's like a couple couples from like a different season that are on that have like the most boring storylines. It's like there's this gay couple that's online and on here, and they're like, "Are we gonna move to Mexico City or not?" I'm like, "I don't give a fuck if you move to Mexico City. No one cares." It's like, "Are you gonna have a surrogate baby or not?" I'm like, "I don't care. This is not part of the relationship I want to watch."
No.
But then there's this other couple that's in like the Dominican Republic, and it's like a white woman in her like 40s and this black guy, and like the black guy really wants kids, and he's like pissed because this white woman can't buy him things, can't buy him a car, can't buy him a house, and like she's 40, so like getting pregnant is pretty hard, and it's not being successful. She can't give him a kid, and he's like pissed.
Ugh. That's gross.
So, yeah, there you go. There's what I've been watching.
Man, that is just a lot of insane drama.
It's honestly too much. But, you know, sometimes you just gotta have something on the side when you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Brian, you have any shout outs this week?
The Bachelorette is back. I've been watching that with Katie. It's been an interesting season. It's been a fun season. It has your standard drama, but it also feels like they're leaning more into like the fun aspects of it. They had this like whole disclaimer of like, oh, this thing's gonna be filled with like mature adult content, lots of grinding. So if your libido is too high, don't watch this.
That's fun. That brings some funny to it.
Yeah.
I still can't do the whole 25 people for one person.
It's a lot to keep track of, but like realistically, like it gets boiled down to like 8 to 10 people by the show producers anyway. And then you get like snippets of like, okay, here's like somebody who's like reasonable here. They have a fun date. Good for them.
Sure. I liked what was I gonna? I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Ignore me.
Yeah. But it's still fun. That's what we've been checking out.
All right. Well, that's it for us this week. Tell us what you thought about this show on X. At Who Put This On, Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can ask questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.